And now, from your local election headquarters, the only locally produced political talk show discussing the issues that matter to you. This is Big Country Politics on KTAB.
Well, thanks for being here for this week's edition of Big Country Politics. I'm Victor Sotelo. Let's get straight to our political headlines. First, we go from Abilene to Austin, where key city businesses took center stage at the capital of the Lone Star State. Both the State House and the State Senate passing special resolution proclaiming last Wednesday ABI Day. The state legislature hearing about the history of Abilene and the impact on the state. The delegation also able to meet with our local representatives to discuss local issues.
And sometimes our time is limited, but just 5 or 6 minutes or 10 minutes with people from our district and from back home is very important to get a good feel for what's going on and what we need to be working on.
Well, it's always fun to be able to get out and meet our representatives, to get to speak with them about different issues so we can all be on the same page and make sure that they understand our voice.
This was the first year for the trip, and the Chamber hopes it help lawmakers understand what Texas can do to help Abilene. Now to the city of Abilene politics. Abilene Mayor Anthony Williams taking to Facebook addressing allegations that he acted unethically in 2016 council meeting that resulted in a contract being awarded to a company he owns. KTAB City reporter Nathan Grieve meets with the mayor as well as the city attorney to find out more.
Councilman Anthony Williams has recused himself because of a conflict of interest and has stepped out of the room for this discussion.
That vote from 3 years ago resulted in a contract awarded to a company owned by then Councilman Anthony Williams. Today, the mayor maintains everything he did was above board.
State law says I can't participate, but I went beyond that. I didn't want to make my peers feel awkward, so I left the council chambers and I allowed the council to have a discussion about awarding the contract without me being there. And again, the council, with a 6-0 vote, voted to award the contract Southwest Direct.
According to City Attorney Stanley Smith, that does follow the law.
The law contemplates that a council member can certainly contract with the city or a county or whatever it may be, that you have to follow those rules, and if those rules are followed, there's not a problem.
Those rules include signing the appropriate paperwork to show a conflict exists, as well as abstaining from any discussion and votes regarding the issue. Councilman Shane Price was a part of that vote in 2016. He says it's nothing unusual.
It's not that unusual for council members, directly or indirectly through family members, to be involved in things that are conflict, and we just have to declare it.
Price cites others, such as Councilmember Steve Savage and former Councilmember Bruce Kreitler, who've both contracted with the city while serving on the council. In Abilene, with coverage you can count on, Nathan Grieve, KTAB News.
And Mayor Williams says he is willing to talk to citizens who have concerns that the vote wasn't appropriate and has offered up all the relevant documents and paperwork. Documents you can see on our website at bigcountryhomepage.com. Well, it contributes more than $400 million a year and creates almost 2,000 jobs for the city of Abilene, but there's potential for Dyess Air Force Base to do even more. KTAB's Claire Kreitz shares how Abilene is working to grow the impact the base has on the key city in this Eye on Dyess report.
Air Force senior leaders say they're pleased with the progression of the Air Force's newest bomber aircraft, the B-21 Raider.
As the B-1B Lancer gets closer to retirement.
To not have flying missions at Dyess Air Force Base would be a bad thing.
The race is on to host the next generation bomber.
The Secretary of the Air Force has said that the B-21 will go to a bomber base, but hasn't named exactly what bases, where, and when, and which one will become the training unit and which one will become a main operating base.
The Abilene Chamber of Commerce Military Affairs Committee working hard to ensure Dyess is that base.
We want to be the first person, the first base to house the B-21.
Stressing community support to Dyess and its airmen.
We have a reputation that's unparalleled, that's unmatched in the United States.
Pointing to awards like the Abilene Trophy and most recently the Barksdale.
And who was the first one to win? Abilene.
Plus highlighting the conditions of the base.
With our weather, our training ranges, the Dias runway, the infrastructure, it's a very important piece for a training mission at Dias.
The MAC is working with state delegation like Senator Ted Cruz, John Cornyn, and Congressman Jody Arrington, letting Air Force Secretary Heather Wilson know Dias is not only poised to be the home of the B-21, but also the formal training unit.
You know, it'll be many more jobs for Abilene. We currently do that in Abilene to train the B-1 pilots. It's an important thing, and of course, we at Dias and Abilene, we want to be first.
I mean, there's a lot of opportunity here to expand on what Abilene and Dias Air Force Base has been doing for years. In fact, I think there's a historic opportunity.
But with still so much up in the air, the big question is, what happens if Dias isn't chosen?
You look back historically, and with the base realignment and closures, bases without flying missions, they suffered greatly and did not come out very well.
Despite no formal decision made,
We're in a great position. They're going to make that decision, but I think we left everything on the field for sure.
Community leaders confident Dias and its missions will be flying well into the future.
Thank you, Claire. And the Military Affairs Committee, or MAC, is hoping that the home of the B-21 will soon be announced. All right, still to come here on Big Country Politics. A lot happening in local politics now. Our local expert, Dr. Paul Fabrizio from McMurray University, is here to break it all down. We're back in 2 minutes.